Hi Leos, I hope you guys are doing great. I am Emily Gear, multi-dimensional channel and energy healer. I'm here with your weekly messages for Leo. First, I just want to start by saying that if you are interested in a private session with me, you can schedule that on my website, which is IamEmilyGear.com. Okay, so let me just get right into the shuffling of the cards. Just looking for messages for this week. I did already publish a general message for the entire collective on my channel, so do check that out. It seems to be resonating with a lot of people. Let's just see what wants to come out for you today. I'm not putting a timeline restriction on this because I'm going to start releasing them at various times during the week, so I'm not dating them. Just so that you're aware. Okay. Messages for Leo, please. Leo messages. This is Sun, Moon, Rising, potentially even Venus signs. Okay. What else just turned over in here? Okay. All right, so we're starting today with the Emperor and with the Strength card. And these are very Leonine type forces. I often picture both of these cards can frequently feature a lion in them. They don't happen to in this deck. But that's that energy of strength, of power, of the sun, of the light, of the masculine, of the conscious mind. And so there may be a lot of conscious decision making taking place right now, is what I'm actually hearing at the moment. A lot of balancing of the masculine energy within you. So making choices excuse me, based on recognizing with the conscious mind the distorted masculine as it's playing out in your life. So those are ideas of competition. There was somebody else I talked about, actually it might have been Cancer, where there was a lot of talk about competition and ego and that kind of stuff. So I feel like, you're recognizing where you're being competitive potentially with others, or you're trying to keep someone down in order for you to rise. It's like that kind of behavior that I'm really feeling this week. Might even be a sense of, and it could be I'm just pulling this out of the Cancer reading, but I also feel like the chance that there's this sense of sexual competition, in the sense that maybe there's two women competing for one man, two men competing for one woman, instead of I don't even know where I was going with that last second, that last part, but essentially this distorted masculine, either a manipulation via strength or competition. Okay. And what's happening is you are noticing this in your life, and you are making direct unconscious choices not to behave in that manner, not to allow that to affect your decisions. In this way, you're actually strengthening the divine masculine within you. And if you are in a relationship, a divine complements type relationship, which is not every relationship, so be aware of that, but if you are in that kind of relationship, it will actually strengthen your partner's divine masculine as well, because of the way that it mirrors. I almost see it as like one energy connecting two people. So that's kind of how it's like showing here. So you're somehow affecting another person in these situations. There may be some tests of loyalty coming up, which is another thing that we can either choose to act from the divine masculine or from the distorted masculine, right? So So that is coming up for you this week. I do feel like there are a lot of changes coming up in the way that you perceive the structure of your identity, okay? So for whatever that might mean to you, that feels like it's coming up. And that's probably that conscious realization of the more distorted aspects of what you might be projecting, or your behaviors based on fears or a feeling of incompetence or whatever. This is not acting from the divine masculine, this is acting from the distorted masculine. Okay, what else is coming up for Leo here? So we have the Four of Swords with the Queen of Rods, which is the Queen of Wands. This feels like you might even step away from a situation that is like causing some of this stuff to come out within you. Whatever is provoking this potentially negative behavior pattern to come out, I feel that, you know, you are making the choice to step away. If you're not making the choice, then this is suggesting that you take a break at least from the situation, whether it's a relationship, some kind of group dynamic. I feel like there's a good chance that there's a group dynamic going on here. It could be a work situation, it could be some other organization that you're involved with, it could be a family dynamic. For a lot of you, this is a family dynamic, actually. And you're doing this in order to more firmly step into your your energy of strength, okay? The Strength card typically depicts a female controlling a lion with the strength of her gentleness, with the strength of her divine feminine nature, right? The Queen of Wands is much like that, because she is a tower of strength, and she does create her reality. You could say control her reality to an extent, except for control is really an illusion, and it has a negative connotation. So it's really about creating the reality around her based upon the divine feminine and divine masculine characteristics within her, i.e. the high vibrational creative force that we each carry within us, not this negative destructive force of competition, of ego, of separation. They're saying separation. It's almost like if there's a situation in which you might be fighting to set yourself apart from another person to show that you're the clear favorite, maybe, that is a destructive tendency. It pulls people apart rather than unifies. And so I feel like you're recognizing the destructive nature of that versus the creative nature of embodying your unity consciousness, or the divine aspects of the masculine and feminine together, okay? All right, let's see what else wants to come out here for this week for Leo. There's a whole chunk of cards that is flipped here. I'm going to go ahead and take them. Actually, there's literally a third of the deck that's flipped. So I'm going to take the ones that I took, and the rest I'm putting back in. Okay. So what we have here then is the Hanged Man with the Hermit. All right, and I feel like this is that introspection. It's part of this separating of yourself from the crowd, from the madding crowd, from the chaos, or whatever situation might be pushing you into historically negative behaviors. It could be that you have in the past acted in this distorted way, and you are doing what you can to remove yourself, because now that you're conscious of it, you want to remove yourself from it. And so that's this Four of Swords energy of the stepping away. It's also relates to this Hermit energy of going within, and the Hanged Man energy of not only putting something on hold but also seeing things from a different perspective. It's almost it can be the martyr archetype, but it feels to me a little more like taking the high road here. This feels like taking the high road based upon your own possibly new personal ethics. That you've gone within to make this change, whether that's during this week or recently, and you no longer want to play into that archetype, okay? I have the Five of Rods coming up with the Sun. I don't know why I'm getting a feeling of nostalgia here. It's almost like you might be stepping away from family members or groups of friends where in the past you have, as possibly part of joking, ways of having fun, maybe put other people down, or it's almost like your way of verbal sparring was once, it's almost like a whole group of frenemies where you built your relationship based upon this distorted masculine sense of what friendship is, what being a man is, or not even being a man, just being like a powerful person. If you're talking about if you're a female, because females can absolutely embody aspects of the distorted masculine. Okay, I've seen it myself. I've seen it play out, and a lot of times with women, it can play out as just this negative putting down type energy, in order to get a laugh, but also putting someone down at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like, in this particular situation, I'm getting this very potent sense of nostalgia, as in like, this is how we were, this is how we did it back in the day. I'm almost getting this vision of like teenagers fighting in the street, but not because they're mad at each other, because this is what they do, this is how they spar, this is how they play. So I feel that might directly relate to you, but I feel like more than likely that is a metaphor for whatever situation you're separating yourself from, and you're kind of seeing how that may not have been healthy in the past, or how it wasn't healthy in the past, and you want to change that for your future. You're changing the structure. Like I said in the beginning, it's something about the structure of your personality and how that is changing based upon your perception of the idea of strength and what is strong, okay? What else is showing up for Leo here for this week? Yeah, the Four of Rods is coming in. Whatever change you're making based upon this sort of retraction from the old ways is absolutely bringing you a lot of stability and joy internally, and a lot of balance. I think you were so far out of balance in the past, but you didn't know it because you were operating via some kind of programming, which social programming or family programming or both, which made you feel like you were doing it the way it was supposed to be done. It was uncomfortable, and it actually hurt your self-esteem, your identity. It hurt all of those things for you and for everyone that you were. I mean, you were a party to this also. You were receiving and you were giving it, right? But it was damaging to everyone who was taking part. And so pulling yourself away of that, actually becoming consciously aware of it, shining the light of the conscious mind on this behavior and the negativity of it, is creating for you a kind of balance which is new. I'm also hearing the word I'm also hearing the word wedding, internal wedding. And so it could be that you actually have a wedding coming up, but what it feels like to me is this, it's almost as if your feminine half is able to balance with, contact, unify with, marry your masculine half, because your masculine half is no longer repulsing the feminine half with this completely like destructive behavior. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but within us, as you know, there is a balance between masculine and feminine inside every single human being, regardless of the gender of their physical body. So the goal then is to bring those two things into union for a perfect balance. And for you this week, that seems to be the key, is understanding those. I'm hearing the word derogatory right now, so it could be that you're used to using derogatory terms because it's, you know, I'm hearing a lot about getting a laugh. Like, it could be that you are just, we're in this toxic situation, just making fun of each other all the time, and it was kind of harmless, except for it wasn't, because you were harming each other constantly. Okay, so pulling out of that creates this balance. Okay, just gonna get, actually I'm gonna switch. Funny enough, I picked up the deck and left a few cards behind, so we're gonna look at these cards that were left behind. Okay, these are perfect. So we have the Magician here, which is just really all about having the ability to taking control of, can be about manipulation, but in this case I feel like it's really taking control of a situation that you realized through just understanding with the Nine of Rods here. I feel like this is realizing through feeling beaten half to death, you know? You're realizing the damage done by this point of view, this way of seeing the world, right? Because you yourself are so very wounded by it, and then it creates this situation where you then are able to switch your perspective and see how everyone else has been wounded by it. But because of that change in perspective, you're able to bring yourself into balance here, which is the Six of Pentacles, and create a situation in which you are more powerfully manifesting, as the Magician here, an ideal situation for yourself, whether that be in relationship, in job, in life mission, whatever that might be. So you've, having retracted yourself out of this powerfully negative, toxic masculinity, you're resetting your whole life and changing the trajectory so that you're moving toward more wish fulfillment for yourself. Okay, I can't believe it looks like we're on 18 minutes, so I'm going to end it there, Leo. We're going to continue and look directly into romantic relationships and do an energy healing for you on Vimeo. The link is below. And if this is where we end it for this week, totally cool. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And don't forget, you can schedule a session privately with me at IamEmilyGear.com. Okay? Talk to you guys soon. Bye.